also think of a song that you want to blow down on.
I know.
And that has that. This is a good game, Terrell. This is a good game. You've done something here.
Yeah.
Bow Wow was everything, honey.
Man,
He even had me up to fresh as I'm is.
Okay. There's only...
What was the last lie you told? I can't because of the baby. I'm a mother.
That's what it is. Pause.
Yeah.
You better sing.
What's your most embarrassing guilty pleasure? Zeus Network. Yeah. I love you, Bobby Purr.
Girl, Keke Palmer is a meme queen.
I don't know this man. Because...
Angela played Tina.
Yes.
And I'm gonna need you to play Angela. When the time comes.
Oh, yeah, in the movie. I'm like, shit, I thought the time was... You see, I got a character. And I've been like, what's your favorite curse word?
Oh, yeah! Yeah, Keke Palmer.
Yes!
You better know it.
Yes, God! What?
That's my bitch. Respect her.
Okay. You ate that down, honey. It was so good. I'm done with all of y'all.
Bow Wow, you a legend.
Bow Wow's a legend.
Okay.
He set the stage for any of these little kids that you got running around. Bow Wow was the one. Period. I'm still riding for mine.
Make sure you check. If you didn't see it tonight, make sure you go to Terrell's channel. Check that out. Amazing. And we know Keke is a legend. She is an icon. Once again, thank you for joining me here on Conversations with Taz for Think About It Thursday. Before we get started, as always, make sure you check out the links in the description of this video. And you know what? Let's just jump right on into it. Debt's been handled. Let's check it out.
Yeas are 314. The nays are 117. The bill is passed. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Now, remember how the GOP was claiming that Biden was senile, couldn't find his pants, all this other stuff? Now they've been outsmarted by Biden. They really didn't want to default on the debt. They know the repercussions of it. They just wanted to use it as leverage for the next election. The GOP is never about the people because they're supposed to be the party of small government, but everything that they're doing is big government. Government controlling every aspect of your life. Government willing to tank you in order to own the libs and destroy wokeism that they can't even define. Things that people have been so comfortable with their entire life, their entire existence. Now they are being told they should fight against it. And what are they doing? Calling in bomb threats and assaulting retail workers and everything else. But you still expect these retail workers to stay in their position and take bullshit from you. Stop complaining at these places when things aren't going as quickly as they used to go. People are over your shit. They're taking your advice. You decided not to do better, so they decided to do better. You decided not to be better, they decided to be better. And the conservatives are nothing but hypocrites. You think I'm reaching? You think I'm Let's take a look.
Have y'all seen this? Future Hooters girl, make him drool early. The people outraged that Target is selling Pride merch for children are the same people that have no issue with this. In fact, they're the same people that probably bought this for their children. But we know they don't actually care about children. They're just using children as a pawn to justify their bigotry.
That's all they're doing. They know that they're the ones that fall apart regarding anything that doesn't go their way. They know that they're the ones pushing their beliefs and their ideologies on other people. They know they are the ones that are over-sexualizing everyone in their midst. And if you think I'm joking, When people talk about LGBTQIA plus relationships, they immediately go into what they do behind closed doors in their bedroom. But when your niece brings home her boyfriend, do you automatically think that they're fucking? And if you do, why? Now, I am staunch on just because you're in a relationship with somebody, you do not have to give your body to them. I've had a plenty of relationships where there has been no coitus. There has not even been hand holding. But that's just me. I don't believe that because I said I agree to be your partner, that automatically says I agree to do the bang bang shoot down with you in the sheets. And if you believe that that is a component and that is a requirement of a relationship, you need to ask yourself why and who put that in your head. Because I promise you, it wasn't a member of the LGBTQIA plus. Because in the midst of the LGBTQIA plus are asexual people who have zero desire to be. Never mind, Google is free. I'm giving y'all too much. But you all recall the young man who went to the wrong house and was shot in his head. We do have an update.
In Kansas City, Missouri, the 17-year-old young man who was shot in the head last month after going to the wrong house to pick up his siblings has made his first public appearance since that shooting. Young Ralph Yarl walked as part of a fundraiser for people with brain injuries yesterday, injuries not unlike the one he has right now. His mother says he walks 2 to 3 miles every day as part of his recovery, but finds it still to be difficult to be around people. 84-year-old Andrew Lester is charged with shooting Yarl and has pled not guilty in that shooting. He is due back in court Thursday.
It is hard enough to be an adolescent regardless of what generation you grew up in. Because not everybody properly raises their children. They just house them. So there are a certain subset of children that can be exceptionally cruel. So I can understand why this young man wouldn't want to be around people. We're far past thoughts and prayers and sitting there praying that you're going to magically heal this young boy. You're not. Prayer didn't get us out of slavery. Prayer does not save babies from leukemia. Prayer does not save anybody from abuse. Stop. Y'all don't put any works unto your faith. Y'all do not study to show thyself approved unto anyone but man. So what makes you think somebody mythical and fantastical is coming to your rescue when you don't even abide by their rules? Because, well, you know, a lot of y'all say you got rules and you let people bypass them. So I guess that's how you... Anywho, let's go on to a presidential candidate that we told you so.
Well, surprise, surprise, Marianne Williamson, a far-left candidate who's trying to challenge President Biden for the Democratic nomination, has turned out to be a terrible person. Her staff is leaving at an alarming rate over her being a demeaning boss, and one former staffer called her a self-help guru who can't help herself. At least 10 staffers have already left the Williamson campaign, which is crazy because she started with 12 people. She's made incredibly demeaning comments to her staff, and apparently during one of her angry outbursts, Williamson got so frustrated that she started banging on a car. We've gotten a lot of reports in the past of Williamson being a terrible person to her staff, and this is just yet another terrible installment and another reason why she should not be supported.
First of all of these gurus, before they started blowing up every place else, they were blowing up on Facebook. Y'all didn't catch then what they did, that they're toxic, because there's always a certain type of person, a certain category of person that they tell you ain't shit. And this isn't a red flag person. This isn't a problematic person. This is the person that they are jealous of. So they decide that whole category of people, and they stick everybody that they're jealous of in that category of people, that you should avoid everything else. Their houses are never in order. Whether it's a lifestyle guru, a religion guru, a relationship guru, they are never living the lifestyle that they're selling to you. What they are doing is making themselves desirable to you because they need you to fawn after them. That's what they get off of. And once you fawn after them, you willing to make it rain. Tell me I'm wrong. I'll wait. Nobody has everything figured out when it comes to human nature, when it comes to people. Nobody can sit here and tell you this is the path you need to take for greatness, to achieve greatness, especially in a capitalistic society. You all need to realize people will get on the internet and sell you any and everything. They will change their ethnicity. They will change their race. They will change their stance on things. They will flippity flop back and forth. Well, I'm Democrat. I'm conservative. I'm centrist. I'm this. I know I hate it against my own community, but here I am again. Have you learned nothing from Candace Owens, from Diamond and Silk, from Caitlyn Jenner, from Donald Trump? It's a grift. They will sell you what you've been convinced is perfection and happiness. They will sell you what you've been convinced to believe is the pathway to the pinnacle. But you ever wonder, why do these gurus need to charge you so much if they're already so successful? It's not like they just figured it out. Let's get an update on the Iowa apartment situation. And once again, make sure you check out the links in the description of this video.
The owner of the apartment complex, Andrew Wold, was fined $300 alongside $95 of court fees that he'll pay by the city. And many of the people we spoke with earlier today say this is not enough of a punishment towards Wold and others.
Well, only $300? That's crazy.
I don't even know who did that, who wrote that, who made that, but that's not even right. $400 for this, like, that don't even make sense.
I don't think $300 is worth people who got injured or lost their homes or their pets or their belongings. $300 does not cover that.
And as I stated before, make sure you check out the links in the description of this video because there's an additional update regarding this. And there are still people missing that are residents of this apartment. And if you follow this podcast, you know we've been following it. And they wanted to demolish it with people inside the building and pets inside the building. Let's go ahead and get to this month's ad, and happy Pride to everyone, and impending happy Juneteenth. But once again, live life. LGBTQ.
I don't dance, I just float. I don't dance, I just float. I just float. I'm light as a feather, yeah baby I float. It's hard to look at my resume and not find a reason to toast. She throwing that thing in a circle, making it viral, I might just elope. Say listen.
Hey everyone, I am at the Burlington Library getting ready for tonight's meeting of the Boone County Young Democrats. We'll have a lot of fun. Yesterday I went to the Florence City Council meeting, and there's a lot to unpack there. So I went to support Angie with Hens for Y'all because the urban hens were on the agenda. It was a farce. Multiple people got up and speak in favor of the hens. I got up, I gave a speech. It should be downloaded. She'll be downloading it. I'm not sure when, but hopefully you'll be able to see it. It was to just, it wasn't even to pass on anything. It was to talk about the possibility of changing the ordinance and looking into it. So Leslie and Jenna both voted yes to continue the discussion, and the rest of the council voted no. So there will not be a discussion on the hens. I'm really upset because they won't even consider doing a poll of Florence to see what the citizens think. And clearly if the room was packed and person after person was coming in to speak in favor of the hens, then that should stand for something. But it didn't. I talked, Carla, the local Marine talked, obviously Angie talked. We had, I mean, it was very clearly, we were very clearly in favor of this, and we were ignored. On top of that.
Yes, this is where I live. And hens is not an acronym for something. They want actual hens to be owned by people, and they can just have them in the city of Florence, Kentucky. Ma'am, have you been on the Nextdoor app? Have you been in the Facebook groups? Y'all can't keep y'all kids together. Y'all can't keep y'all pets together. Y'all can't keep y'all spouses together. And you want us to add hens to the mix? No. No. And a handful of people, because I just found out about this last night, and I live in the city. So a handful of people that y'all told about this and didn't tell the rest of us is not indicative of the rest of us. No, we're not taking a vote on this bullshit. No, there are much bigger issues that we have to take. And then Miss Hens for Y'all talking about she's excited about the Juneteenth celebration. Who put together the Juneteenth celebration? Oh, I'm going to be there. Camera in hand. I'm going to document it from the rooter to the tutor. I want to know who put it together. Talk about getting in touch with our roots. Whose roots? Whose roots? Y'all want hens to run around. And you have convinced yourself that the vast majority. Every single day, hour by hour, there is somebody on the Nextdoor app complaining about somebody's kids doing some shit. Y'all can't handle children. And you want us to handle you, your children, your pets, and now Anywho, let's get updated on some Trump news. Jesus.
Donald Trump is making it clear to his friends and allies and advisors that if he wins a second term as president, it is essentially going to be a revenge term. And one of the first orders of business, of course, will be to purge the DOJ and the FBI of anyone and everyone that has ever participated in an investigation of Donald Trump. And he will then, according to these reports, those people closest to Trump who spoke to Rolling Stone, he will then appoint his loyalists to those positions within the DOJ and the FBI, effectively turning those into the so-called politicized agencies that Republicans want us to believe exist today. So, what we have happening, or the potential to have happen here, is Donald Trump doing exactly what Republicans are accusing Democrats of doing, even though they haven't been able to find any evidence of Democrats doing it. But Republicans are literally already pledging that that is what they are going to do. To purge anyone who has a differing ideology, to purge anyone who may have participated in a fully legal investigation. And instead, we're going to replace them with people who will politicize the agency and, of course, go out there and investigate Democrats for every possible thing you could imagine. Anyone with a D next to their name, anyone who is a progressive, anyone who considers themselves a liberal, you will be a target if Donald Trump makes it back to the White House. This is not overstating it either. It's not hyperbole. We know exactly what this man wants to do. He has made that abundantly clear. He had already made it clear when he was running for a second term in 2020 that the next term was going to be all about revenge. That he was going to go after the people who allegedly went after him. He was going to go after his enemies, both on the left and on the right. And now he is literally telling his people around him who spoke to Rolling Stone that this is what I'm going to do. I am going to go on a revenge tour. Everyone is a target at this point. Now, as it stands right now, we do not have the names publicly of the individuals that have been involved in investigations involving Donald Trump. There was a FOIA request by one of the folks over at Judicial Watch that for some reason wanted the names of these people, and the agency was like, no, that is a massive invasion of privacy. We're not going to do that. But if Trump is president, he would have the authority to find out who these people are. It probably wouldn't take him all that long to do it either. He will have his hand-picked attorney general at that point. He'll find out who these people are, and I think it's probably going to go a little bit worse than just firing them. He will make these people's lives hell. He will try to get his folks to come up with some kind of bogus charges so that he can put them all in prison. That's what we're looking at with a Trump second term. It's not just that he has horrible policies. It's that this is a man hell-bent on revenge. That's all he thinks about all day, every day. He wants that power again because he realizes now he didn't go after his enemies hard enough during the first term. So he needs that second term so that he can make all of us.
Now, if you've been watching this podcast for a while, you already know. Fredo is being Fredo. He really thinks that he's in the Godfather movies. He really does. Instead of just being an honest, upstanding individual, instead of doing the hard work, nope, he is leaning back on his privilege as a white man. He pretends to be Christian because he knows where that's going to get him in this country. But when he originally ran for president, he was very and holding up flags and going to pride rallies and everything else because he wanted everybody to have his back. But then when he got in office and realized the power that he yielded, he thought that he was Putin. He thought that he was Kim Jong-un. He thought that he was a dictator, and that's what he wanted to be. How embarrassing for him. But, you know, from somebody who never had to do his own homework and had everybody covering for him and patting him on the back and telling him he was so great. I tried to tell y'all on my original TikTok account when he was originally running for president and when he was originally president and he was running again for re-election. One major thing, his mommy issues come from the fact that the Trump organization was originally named Mary Trump and Sons. See, he made fun of Hillary Clinton for having pneumonia. But how did his grandpappy die? And his grandpappy kept buying up land, but not really doing anything with it. Like, he would have a brothel here and there, but he would just collect land. It was his grandmother that decided, hey, if we have rental properties, she was the one that built up the business. And then his father took it further. His brother didn't want anything to do with it because his brother wanted to be his own man, amongst other things. And Trump wanted mommy and daddy's attention so badly that he learned how to brand things and how to sweet talk people into things. He was Anna Delvey before Anna Delvey was Anna Delvey. And people just ate it up. Yeah, he's a billionaire. Yeah, look at him. I know 10 heirs that have custom suits that fit better than him because Men's Warehouse is a thing. But let's move on to his protege, DeSantis.
Ron DeSantis, maybe last year, maybe even the year before, I can't remember what it was. But anyway, he launched a new program here in the state of Florida, offering bonuses of about $5,000 apiece to police officers from liberal cities who hate the cops to come on down and be cops here in the state of Florida. We will give you thousands of dollars as a signing bonus. Just leave your horrible blue state where they're calling to defund the police and move on down to Florida where we love our cops, right? Well, it worked. Over 1,700 cops from around the country came to the state of Florida. And according to a massive new report based on information FOIA'd from Florida's government, the Daily Dot actually found out that a lot of these cops had been accused of abuse and excessive force and had multiple complaints filed against them both before they left their home states and after coming to Florida. Some of them, since coming to Florida and becoming police officers and receiving bonuses of almost $7,000 apiece, have been charged with murder. And some of them have even been charged with kidnapping. Multiple police officers who came to the state have been charged with domestic abuse. They have been hit with firearms charges. So Ron DeSantis paid a grand total of, by the way, $9 million for these 1,700 cops to come here. And what did he do? He brought in murderers. He brought in kidnappers. He brought in drug traffickers. He brought in the exact kind of people that he say are running rampant in those liberal cities to be cops down here in the state of Florida. Cops that have now killed people in the state of Florida. But see, you don't hear that part of the story, do you, conservatives? No. You only hear that DeSantis is bringing in these police officers because them liberal cities, they hate the cops. They want to defund the police. Yeah, we didn't get the good cops, though, did we? We didn't get those hard-nosed detectives that are out there solving murders and following the book. No, we got the psychos. We got the crazies. We got the people that were going to be facing discipline back in their own precincts, so they just packed up and came down here to Florida where they think they can get away with all of it. That's what's happening to my state now. We've got the attacks on Disney, the attacks on private businesses for hosting drag shows, the attack on the entire LGBTQ community, the attacks on critical race theory, even though Republicans can't even tell you what it is. We've got the books being banned. This state is going to hell, and this is what Ron DeSantis wants to do to the rest of the country, folks. Look at Florida, but don't look at us as like, oh, wow, what a wonderful utopia. They've got lots of theme parks. Yeah, for now. That may not last much longer, by the way. And other than that, things really do suck here. Our economy is crap. We're now going to experience a labor shortage in the state, also thanks to legislation signed by Ron DeSantis. And if you want that for your state, then by all means support this man's presidential run. But trust me, you look down here at Florida, it doesn't matter if you're looking at a Republican or a liberal. Trust me. We're all not happy with what's happening. It's just that only those of us on the left-hand side understand that it's because of Ron DeSantis. Those on the right still think it's somehow the Democrats' fault, even though they haven't had power in this state in over 25 years. We know what's happening. It's not good. Please don't let this happen to the rest of the country.
Well, we already knew that Ron DeSantis wanted his woke mob, anti-woke mob to go out. So, of course, they're not vetting these people. They're just giving them bonuses and promising them to come down. And that's exactly what they're doing. He's saying that Florida is the safest place ever. Where Florida is the least safe place for anyone, unless you were a cisgendered pseudo-Christian, now anti-military, because he's now claiming the military is woke because of all the white supremacy that is being broadcast coming from the military, and male. So if you are not in that category, where do you fit in? And also, what is Ronnie Boy doing about what just washed up on the beaches of Florida? Y'all do know that there's flesh-eating bacteria in that, right? So you go down to the beach and you take it as a challenger. You're like, oh, Fox News, OAN, and Newsmax said it's okay. Ron DeSantis said it's okay because he's trying to save tourism. And what happens to save the children when you take your children down there? I want you to Google what just washed up on the shores in Florida. And look at what's happened to full-grown adults. Now, I told y'all before, Uncle Shannon wasn't going to last with Skip Bayless. Here's the announcement.
Y'all, I was on Twitter and I just read a tweet that has brought me immense sadness. NFL Hall of Fame tight end Shannon Sharpe has reached a buyout agreement with FS1, and his final appearance on Undisputed is expected to be after the NBA Finals. I saw this shit coming a couple of months ago or so, but even though I saw it coming, it doesn't make it suck any less. Not only will Uncle Shay be leaving Undisputed, but his popular podcast club Shay Shay will also be leaving the network. For those of you that are curious as to why this is happening, which I don't know how many of y'all really are, because I know I don't talk too much sports on this page, though I do love sports, and I watch a lot of sports shows like The Herd, First Things First, Undisputed, First Take. For those of y'all that don't know, my dream job was to be on a sports show like that, or to just have my own show. But the reason why most people believe this is happening is because a couple months ago, it seemed like Shannon and his partner on the show, Skip Bayless, were getting into some arguments that were crossing over into like personal, disrespectful type of stuff. Don't quote me verbatim on this, but I believe there was an episode where Skip and Shannon were talking about Tom Brady, and for those of you who don't know, Shannon is more critical of Tom Brady. Skip is just infatuated with him and doesn't believe he can do anything wrong. And so Shannon was kind of critiquing Brady. Skip, being the god defender he is, decided to take a shot at Shannon, calling him jealous because Brady was able to play for X amount of years, whereas Shannon had to retire after I think it was like 13 seasons.
Still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
Skip, that's what you do.
That's the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something into question, I'm jealous.
No,
Skip, I did what I did.
I never said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Skip, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you.
Better.
Skip, what did I got to see what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal...
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just
Go ahead.
You disrespect him. It's just so.
You
know what? It's beneath your dignity.
You would disrespect me to support him.
No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the greatest player who ever played your game, and it's by far.
Have at it.
Okay,
Take off,
I'm going to have at it.
It was rather uncomfortable to watch. Fast forward X amount of shows later, the Damar Hamlin incident happened, and for those of you who don't know, Damar Hamlin, who was a player for the Buffalo Bills, he took a hit to the chest during a game, and he got hit just right enough to stop his heart, and he went into cardiac arrest on the field. The Bengals-Bills game ended up getting canceled, and Skip Bayless hopped on Twitter and basically said something like, "Oh, we're so close to the end of the season, this game can't be canceled, it's such magnitude, the Bengals and Bills are so close in record, like this game has to be played. I understand Damar Hamlin, we need to be worried about him, but the game." And whereas most people were only worried about Damar, Skip seemed to focus more on the game. And so the next day, Undisputed is supposed to be on, Shannon didn't show up, but Skip did. The following day, Shannon did show up on the show, and that's when this encounter happened.
There's been a lot of speculation of why I wasn't on air yesterday, and I won't get into speculation or conjecture or innuendo, but I will say this. In watching that game on Monday night, what happened to Damar Hamlin struck me a little different. As a brotherhood in the NFL, when injuries happen, when we know injuries are a part of the game, I've seen guys suffer ACLs and Achilles tear, but I've never seen anybody have to be revived and fight for their life on the field. So it struck me a little differently because I remember seeing my brother paralyzed on the field temporarily, and he was able to regain focus. Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down, but I didn't want it.
Well, time out. I'm not going to take it down because I stand by what I tweeted.
Skip, let me finish.
All right, okay.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Go ahead, let's go, Jen.
Okay.
I mean, I cannot even get through a monologue without you interrupting me.
Well,
you could have came back. Skip,
well, I thought,
Skip, just let.
I didn't know you were going to bring up
No,
this.
I was just going to say, Skip, I didn't want to yesterday to get into a situation where Damar Hamlin was the issue. We should have been talking about him and not get into your tweet. That's what I was going to do. But you can't even let me finish my opening monologue without you interrupting.
Okay. I was under the impression you weren't going to bring this up because nobody here had a problem with that tweet.
No. Clearly, the bosses wanted you to offer explanation, so clearly somebody.
No, they did not have. Nobody.
Let's go, Jen.
And from this point on, I don't know, shit just felt really weird. Shannon did talk to Mad Dog about the whole thing, and he said that he and Skip did make up. They talked about it, that he has a lot of respect and love for Skip, and that, you know, he didn't want to let this beef linger. But given that he has now reached a buyout with FS1, it makes me wonder how much of that beef did he really let go. I've been watching Undisputed since episode 1, and, you know, to see Shannon leave, it does hurt. But I know wherever Uncle Shay goes, he's gonna be awesome, he's gonna be entertaining, and I'm definitely going to keep watching him. Don't know if I can say the same for Undisputed, because Skip isn't really the draw for me in that show. Like, I do like Skip, and I especially like Skip Bayless the person, but Skip Bayless, the sports debater, he has some
Stop trying to separate people. Skip is who he is on camera and off camera, and Skip is the poster child for white privilege. He can defend someone specifically for just being white and call them the greatest for being mediocre. If you think I'm joking, look up who he defends and who he calls the greatest consistently. You're going to tell an NFL Hall of Famer basically that he ain't shit because he criticized, rightfully so, piss poor performances from someone who couldn't let go of the game, for someone who made the game their entire personality trait, that it cost them their family. Who was used to being on a team that would cheat for them to look good. And if you say, Taz, you're reaching. If Tom Brady was so great, why couldn't he be great outside of the cheating? I'm not going to say that I have respect for Skip Bayless. I'm not going to say that he's a great person at all. And I know why Shannon Sharpe said what he said after that episode. He was still under contract and he was still going to be with the show. And then it got to a point, as a lot of Black, brown, indigenous people of color know, when you get to a point, you can't kiki and laugh anymore. You can't just let it roll off your back anymore. When no one is having your back, that's when you got to peace out. As always, thank you for joining me here for Conversations with Taz on Think About It Thursdays. I will see you all tomorrow for Freeform Fridays. And as always, each one teach one, each one reach one. Ew. And let me leave you with this. Remember, Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, was impeached. And I told you his wife wasn't recusing herself, and there were no stories of her fighting hard for people to take his side. Your boy had an affair. This is about to get even more juicy. But take a look. Till tomorrow, y'all.
Ooh, we got some Texas tea just now. Oh, Ken Paxton is fucked. Now, I don't know a lot of Texas lawyers, but I know who Rusty Hardin is. He was just appointed by the House to help with the prosecution, not defense, prosecution of Ken Paxton. He said, and I quote, 10 times worse than what has been made public. It will blow your mind. Ken Paxton is as corrupt as they fucking come. And all of these Republicans coming out to support him, they know. Republicans have a multi-pronged attack against our democracy. They've sowed doubt in our voting. They've sowed doubt in our legal system. This is a direct assault on democracy. This guy's going to crucify him. And I love that for Ken. I love it for you, Ken. Hail Satan, praise the science. Happy Pride.
But there ain't nothing like a woman scorned. You had one plausible ally. You don't have her anymore. Toodaloo.